All right, guys, back out here again. Gonna do a speed test with the K180 on the Litetackle 2. So we're gonna jump out there and see what it's up to. Freaking fly, man. Full power right here. Oh. Something just happened. Lost the steering cable. Dang it. I don't know how that freaking happened. I'm fixing to do a speed test on the Litetackle with the K180. I assume it's going to be faster than the Shoaly. Definitely feels faster. I've got my phone down here, checking the speed. Like a solid 5. And it's staying on 5, so 1 mile per hour more than what the Shoaly is. It's pretty nimble too to be as long as it is. I've got the seat here in the low position, so right there's pretty well maxed out. Yep. I'm happy. Super happy. Alright, gotta go back to the ramp. Gotta go pick my kids up. We'll see y'all later. What's up, guys? Josh here with Westbrook Supply Co. Crescent Kayaks. I just wanted to take a second and go through my Litetackle 2. I have put the Newport K180 on the Litetackle 2, and I'll throw some clips in here of where I took it out earlier this week and did some speed tests and stuff like that on it. And I'm just going to run y'all through exactly how I've got everything set up, as far as where I put my battery, how I ran my foot steering, and how I actually mounted it to the boat. So let me get the camera turned around and I will run y'all through exactly how I did everything. All right, guys. Well, here you go. It's the Litetackle 2 tire setup. We're going to start out back here on the back, where the motor is actually put on with the mount. What I've got here is I've got it set up with these mighty knobs from Yak Attack, with T-bolts that run through the inside of the boat. These mighty knobs make it basically where eventually I'm getting another mount, but right now, because I do change this motor out between this and the Shoaly over there, I want this mount to be easily removable. So I use the T-bolts with the mighty knobs, just because, so I can take the mount on and off fairly quickly and swap it out between boats. Makes it a little easier. What I did is, since this space right here that they put on the Litetackle 2 to do things like mount motors and power pole, it is a little bit on a downward slope right here. So if I was to just mount the motor mount directly to the plastic, the motor mount would sit kind of at an angle, to where the motor's not, it's going to be pointing more down versus straight on. So what I did is I just took this block right here of really thick starboard, cut it just into a rectangle, drilled a couple holes in it, put it on the front side of the mount here, just to level the mount out some to where it's more straight. But like I said, got that ran with these T-bolts that run through the inside. It's just the same like track bolts. Got my steering cables, of course, on both sides. Ran those through the little frog eyes that Crescent had molded into the boat. I got those ran with these little grommets. Now, this is not steering, it's not tubed all the way through the boat. These little inserts are only about 1 inch to 1.5 inches long. You just drill your hole and then tap them in with a rubber mallet, and then you can run your cable in through it. These will let water physically into the hole if you are doing anything crazy, but for what I'm going to be using it for, I felt like it would be okay just to use these little grommets and not to have to run tubing all the way through the boat. Like I said, I got my motor lift cable right here and my reverse lock cable right here. I've got it ran on one side. Both of these cables ran on one side of the boat, down through here. I've got my motor lift cable ran through this little hook right here, just to kind of keep it tidy, keep it from, it's not going to come out on its own or anything like that. My reverse lock cable I have just kind of free, because if you run this through here and you pull the reverse lock and lock it, the tension of this right here actually keeps the reverse lock engaged. So if you run it free, it's got enough tension on that spring right there to bring it back. So like I said, I've got these two cables ran up through here, and they're ran up through this this little Litetackle eyelet, and then I've got it set up for both of my handles to sit very nicely in this little cubby that Crescent did on the Litetackle 2. Now what I've done is I've put a one-way cleat in this little cubby just for the motor pool cable. So pretty much it locks there into place, and when I want to raise the motor up, instead of having a cleat up here or something like that that I have to lock this into to hold the motor up, I've just got this one-way cleat. I thought about putting a pulley on it, but it actually seems to pull fairly well and raise the motor up to where it needs to be. So I'll pull this right here and show you about the motor. And it's kind of hard to do with one hand. It'll make the boat fall off the stands. But yeah, so you just pull it like that, and that one-way cleat locks it into place. And then whenever I'm ready to drop the motor, I can just reach down and flick it out of that cleat, and then the motor falls back into place. I really like the fact that this cable, these two cables actually sit in this little cubby very nicely, and that they're not, hanging off the side of the boat, flopping around and making a bunch of noise. They sit in here quite well and nicely. Going on back here, I got my power cable ran. I put the black pack in here, long ways or horizontal, just for y'all to see how much space is in this tank well. This is the 13x16 Black Pack Pro, and it'll sit in there really nicely. I do have to move these my tether tubes up a slot or two to make it sit flush, but I'll do that later. I ran my power cord underneath the black pack and kind of have it coiled up under there. And then sitting right behind my seat is my Amped Outdoors 50 amp 24 volt battery. I'll go around over here and show y'all my connectors. So I use these Anderson connectors right here that you can buy on Amazon. It's like $25. You get a pack of 4 of them or whatever. This is what I use for all my connections, because the little cheap Atwood connectors for, like, you know, trolling motor connectors they're cheap, but with a lithium battery running, you know, lithiums tend to run a little hotter than normal, you know, standard regular deep cycle batteries, and they'll have a tendency to burn up their plugs. They just run so hot. So I use these right here, and they work really, really well. But like I said, I've got the battery sitting right here. It's not, you know, tied down or anything yet. I'm still working on that, trying to figure out exactly how I want to do that. And then my data cable for the throttle control, I've got it ran right here up under the seats. Just simple, because like I said, I do take this on and off and switch it between boats. Ran up to here is my throttle control. Got it mounted to the Yak Attack throttle mount. This does work for the Newport vessels controller and the Torpedo controller. The controller just mounts to this plate with 2 screws on the bottom, and gives you kind of full range of you know, motion of wherever you want this controller at. So you can loosen these knobs up and, you know, move it back and forth if you want to. If you want to get it up out of the way, and you want to pick your paddle up and paddle, you know, or if you want to run it however you want to, it's very, very adjustable. Another reason I did it this way too, instead of hard mounting it to the boat, is because with the Yak Attack lock and load system, you know, literally taking this thing off is just the flip of a switch. You just open that switch up and then it comes right off. Put it back down and lock it back into place, and it stays there. Also, with this lock and load system, you have the ability to push this switch in and fully rotate the controller wherever you want it to sit, and then you just push it back down and it locks it into place. This boat does really, really well on the water. I was very surprised with it. It's probably about a mile per hour faster than the Shoaly is, which I think it was getting around 5 or so. And you'll see that in the next clip coming up, or before, depending on where I want to put it in the video, where I go out and do actual speed tests and stuff like that. So, but yeah, super happy with this setup. If y'all have any questions about it, just hit me up, you know, shoot some in the comments, or you can send me a DM or whatnot. But yeah, awesome setup, super happy with it. If y'all have any questions, let me know. See y'all later.